Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. If you haven't been here before, welcome. On my channel you can find DIYs, trash to treasures, thrift flips, furniture flips, any of that kind of stuff. I do it. I have kind of a mix of styles, so check out my channel, and if you like what you see, make sure you subscribe. For today's video, I am doing a holiday themed DIY, and it's a collaboration with the wonderful Yelena from the Blondie Next Door. Now, if you haven't checked out Yelena's page, make sure you check it out. She's super talented, does amazing DIYs on a budget. She's great. You won't regret it. So check her out. I'll have her link to her channel in my description below. Now, I will also have her video for this collab in my description below.
So for today's video, I'm going to be making three different DIYs. The first one is using these Dollar Tree pumpkins. I got them for $1.25 each, and I actually just realized that these pumpkins only come out at least at our Dollar Tree at Halloween because they're carving pumpkins. So I didn't know that. I was looking for them for, almost a month when they had all their other fall stuff. So I'm just going to be painting them black I had some leftover house paint, so I'm just going to be using that to paint these pumpkins black, just because I didn't want to use up all of my acrylic paint, but you could totally use acrylic paint. I don't have a lot of it, and I needed it for the other project, so I didn't want to use it up. And I'm going to do 2 coats of the black on here, and I'm just letting them dry on skewers. I have long skewers, and I've just put them in there so that way they dry nicely. So after the 2 coats, you can see that I've taken the tops off. I'm now just going to stick them on. I was going to use hot glue to stick them on, but I'm going to use skewers. But before I do that, I'm using these chalk markers to write trick or treat. So trick on one or on the other and treat on the third one. Now I just measured, the pumpkins have like a crease down the middle, so I measured from each side how much I needed for my letters, and that's how I made sure that they would be kind of positioned or like the same width and same size. Positioning is easy because I decided to put them on skewers, so you can just turn them whichever way you need to make them even. And then on the other side I wrote boo, so that depending on I'm not sure where I'm going to display them, so if I display them somewhere where you can see the back, then you can see boo and trick or treat, or depending on my mood or what I want to. Sometimes I like to surprise my kids, so in the morning they'll wake up one day, it'll be trick or treat, the next day boo, and they'll find it amazing. And once everything was dry, including the chalk writing, I put them on one on top of the other, and I saved one of the stems that I had taken off at the beginning of the video, and I painted it just white using that Rust-Oleum chalked linen white that you can see in the frame, and put everything together, and that was my pumpkin topiary. So really easy DIY and very cheap, cost me $3.75. So my next DIY is a super fun DIY as well. I have these pieces of wood that were left over from a different DIY project. It's actually from the doors that I made, well, that we made, my husband and I, on our built-in shelves. So I will be painting these these little pieces of wood out different colors, and I'm going to be making a little boo sign. Originally, I was going to do Happy Halloween, but because the sign was too big, I couldn't use that. So I just used these wooden letters from the Dollar Tree that just say boo. And I'm painting 2 of the boards white because I'm going to have a mummy, a Frankenstein, and a ghost. So for the mummy and the ghost, I'm painting them white using the Rust-Oleum chalked linen white. I must say this paint has gone a long way for me. I've had it for several projects, and I still have some. I painted 2 fireplaces, built-in shelves, a cabinet, a whole bunch of DIYs. This has gone a really long way. For the green, I'm just using just a green acrylic paint that I got at the Dollar Tree. I was using it for a different project, so it was perfect that I had it left over. And I'm painting this guy green and leaving those two guys white. Now I'm only drawing faces on these, so I'm not going to use my Cricut to cut them out. I'm just going to freehand draw them in a pencil and then go over them with a Sharpie. And I also go over them with a chalk marker for some of the white because I needed white and I didn't want to use full-on paint. I do wind up using paint for Frankenstein's hair just because it's a big chunk of black to use. So I just used some of the acrylic paint I had left over. And you can make these faces however you want. This is how I envisioned them. I've seen these types of pictures on Pinterest quite a bit, so that was my inspiration. But again, a super easy, super quick DIY, and it cost me $3.75 because it only cost me those letters, so a cheap DIY too. I wound up connecting the boards as well so that I could make one solid sign, and I'll show you what I did there. For the mummy, I wind up wrapping it in toilet paper. I thought I had some gauze, but I didn't have enough, so I just used toilet paper, which made the project the price that it was, and just did the trick. I glued it with some permanent glue just so that the toilet paper would stick. You could use hot glue as well. I'm assuming it would hold the paper fine. So just up to you. I just happened to have this on hand, and my hot glue gun wasn't warm yet, so I used that. Once my sign part was done, then I go ahead and I paint the boo letters in the leftover acrylic back paint that I used for the design. And I do everything, I don't do both sides. I just do the inside and the outside and let that dry. Then I will connect the board. So then once all the details were done, what I wound up doing was putting a little board at the bottom, well, kind of near the bottom of the sign, and screwing it in after I glued all the pieces together using hot glue and permanent glue. And they were glued together, and then because I used the hot glue, I was able to do the other side right away. I screwed in the other piece, and then I hot glued and permanent glued the boo at the bottom, and the boo at the bottom acts as a little bit of a stand because it's a bit thicker, so it provides a bit of stability for the sign to stand on its own. So I wound up removing this little piece and again putting it at the bottom and then putting another piece at the top, just to hold it together. And if you're not sure, the reason I'm doing the combination of both the hot glue and the E6000 is because then it'll provide that permanent hold right away. Well, it'll provide that hold right away, and then the permanent glue provides a permanent hold. So that way I can put the sign and don't have to worry about pressing it down with something to hold everything in place. So once I glue everything down, I just do a little bit of a touch-up using some white paint because some of the black from the boo brushed off onto the sign. It's just because it wasn't quite dry. I thought it was, but clearly it wasn't. So this project wasn't as quick as the other one, but still fairly quick and really easy to do and a lot of fun. I think this is such a cute little sign. So on to the next project. So for the next project, I'm making another little sign, but it's kind of more like a directional sign. I've seen tons of these on Pinterest, so I thought it would be really cute to make. I'm using just leftover scrap pieces of wood. So I was going to use this for a different project. I had a whole bunch of hot glue on here, so I'm just scraping it off with my X-Acto knife, and I'm going to be painting these little sticks as well as that little piece of wood in black. The little sticks I'm going to glue together with hot glue and permanent glue to make a post, and I'm going to glue that post to the bottom base, and that'll be the base and post for my sign. For the parts that show which way to go and the directions, I'm going to be using these garden sticks from the Dollar Tree. They're a whole bunch in a pack, so I only need 4. And I'm going to be painting them out. Now I was using just a mixture of colors. I used blue and green and black together, orange and black together, and green and black together. And then for that last piece, I added some white as well. Once they dried and I adjusted the colors to the way I wanted them, I just put the names of a bunch of different horror movies, so like names from a bunch of different horror movies on here, using some white chalk paint as well as like a chalk marker. My goodness, I can't talk. As well as a red marker, red Sharpie. Just to get different effects. And then from 2 of the sticks, I cut off the pointy parts to have just a little bit of a different sign. So I have written Elm Street, Camp Crystal Lake. So Elm Street from Nightmare on Elm Street, Camp Crystal Lake from Friday the 13th, Sleepy Hollow, and Salem. And I think these are super cute. I love Halloween and I love scary movies, so this will be super cute, and once my kids are older, they'll know where these are from. And once everything is glued and dried, I'll show you what it looks like. So here are all three pieces together. There's the boo sign, the trick or treat, and the horror sign. And love them so much. They're super cute. I don't have too much indoor Halloween decor. I usually focus more on outside, so I'm having a lot of fun making all of these. And then here's the boo. So if you liked this, make sure you hit that like button. Consider subscribing to see more stuff like this. And make sure you check out Yelena's channel and check out her video. She's super talented, so check it out and check out these videos at the end here. Thank you for stopping by. Have an excellent day and stay safe.